what are we doing here? Who do we perceive as our target audience? Who do we think our audience is?
Phails at philosophy.
I don't
What
know,
do we
who are
think?
you? Who are you? Who are you? I'm not even looking at a camera. Who are you?
Are you?
You who does not exist yet.
Who?
I mean, that's an interesting question. Does our audience exist yet? Do you see what I'm getting at?
Yes. They don't.
But they do.
They do, because when they watch this,
They will have existed at this moment. That
they exist now unless we have a baby. Well,
Right.
that's not necessarily true. This lives on for X number of years. A baby that's not born now could come into
Sure.
maturity and then stumble upon this.
Sure. But even if we take that away, right? Even if we say that's that we're looking at an audience 5 years from now, and yeah, maybe there's some 5-year-olds at that point.
Well, then we're just asking, do other people exist? Which is the original question you were asking. Do I exist in front of you?
I think it's not like when I say does our audience exist, can we say an audience exists when it only exists in potential, even though there will be real people in that audience when it comes about?
Yeah.
Or because even though those people exist, they do not at this moment exist as our audience. The audience does not yet exist.
Yeah. They don't know how much they like this yet.
See? Keep watching.
What do you
You'll
think they're like?
it.
What do you think they're like?
What do I think they're like? I don't know. I just haven't thought about this because I'll be honest with you. The camera, the whole setup, it's a good kind of structure to me to have a conversation because it has this audience that just sort of gives there is a performative element to it, right? We're talking right now, there's a performative element to it.
Yes.
Because we're performing for cameras.
Well, I'm not.
Right. But you are, because the
I mean, the cameras are here, but I'm just shooting the bull with you.
Yeah. I don't believe it.
Well, hopefully, I want to entertain.
Right, yeah.
I want to be an entertainer. Well, I am an entertainer.
Well, and
this is an expression of that entertainment. I'm performing.
It's like all sorts of improvisational, real forms of, and I think the parallel I'm most familiar with is live action streams of role playing games.
D&D, yeah.
Where people are sitting around a table playing D&D.
That's performance.
And the cameras are on, and yeah, I mean like.
But it's performance whether the cameras are there or not.
To some extent.
You're performing for each other.
Right, but to some extent. I mean, I've been reading a number of articles from like DM advice columns that are just like, look, don't try to make your table at home look like the table on camera, because those are voice actors, often comedians, professional performers who are staging a performance, no matter how much it looks this way, and it's about, creating a kind of experience for the audience. And that's very different than the experience you have around a table with your friends, partly because there's a much more interpersonal space. There's a lot more tolerance for just downtime and kind of futzing around.
Then the question is it as entertaining for normal people to have fun and play D&D as it would be for these like trained thespians and all this production?
It is fun. Basically, the argument to here is it is fun if you let go of the fact that you have to have this like crazy high quality comedic improv session every time.
Yeah.
Right? That it's almost like, what people say about porn, right? The problem with porn is people watch porn and think that's what sex is supposed to be like.
Right.
And that's sex that is done on camera for the camera.
Right.
Which is different
than sex.
Right. And so yeah, there's a level at which I like that because it structures in a different way. What is a cool, like the kinds of conversation, like we sit around a fire, we have cool conversations about ideas like this, and they're very different, right? Even though there's a level at which I do think when we've been talking, we've captured some of that, like Philip and Grant sitting by the fire talking about things, right? But there's there's a cohesiveness to it that's nicer in some ways, because it's not like we're talking for 10 minutes and then someone walks up and interrupts the conversation and takes it a different way.
Right.
Or, or one of us just isn't as focused, or, like all those kinds of things. The cameras, the potential audience brings that.
Right.
But I haven't thought about that audience as more than this anonymous audience.
Well, right now we're thinking about it. What do you think about it? Who are these people that are going to watch this show?
I don't know.
Are they college level? Are they college students and above?
I don't know.
Are they kiddos?
I don't know.
You been cussing? Have we been cussing?
I don't know. I don't know if I've been cussing.
I could beep out cuss words.
Yeah, you can always beep out cuss words.
But they'll know what's under that beep.
Yeah, that's fine. Cuss words are, I mean,
yeah, it's fine.
I've never been with my kid. I've never been like, don't cuss. I've been like,
I haven't either.
Don't cuss in front of
people.
teachers.
Yeah, because they'll think poorly of my parenting.
Well, and it's not only that. I think what's important around that for me as a digression is getting our kids to understand that there are different contexts and different behaviors or different.
Yep. The library, you behave differently in the library than you do at the house, than you do at a friend's house, than you do at a pool, than you do,
And that's a normal part of life. And none of those is necessarily less authentic than the other.
Right.
It's just that we move in different spaces. We have different protocols. We have different ways in which we relate to each other interpersonally. So
our target audience, it's unknown, and we're not really able to figure that out.
I don't know. I mean, I guess like people who are interested. I mean, people aren't gonna. I don't know. Maybe people who watch the rest of your Phil's Fails would be like, I'm interested in this Phil Fails. So that's one. Is whoever you attract to the broader.
Whatever this like fly light, this like mosquito light attracts.
Right. So have you thought about the audience for the broader Phil Fails endeavor? Yeah.
I don't know. People that are into self-help, people that are into personal development and want to improve.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a very abstract way of thinking about an audience, but I think, one level is an audience that is interested in thinking about themselves and the world.
Yep.
Right? In a deeper, richer way.
Yep.
And I think that's one way to think about the audience. I don't think it's necessarily like a college-age academic audience, right? Like college students.
They're not studying philosophy.
Right. If they are studying philosophy...
then this is their fun and play.
Yeah, this is not going to be help. This at best, this is like, it cannot be terrible.
They're not going to reference this for their thesis.
Absolutely
is that what you're
not.
saying?
Absolutely not.
Philip Jones is never going to get a footnote on a thesis.
I mean,
Come on.
Part of what I want to when I think about what do I want to perform in front of the camera is doing philosophy from the hip, right? Not saying, it's this person who argued this in this text, and then a week later I'm like, oh no, that was totally the wrong text and the wrong person.
Yeah.
It's going to be on a video someday, and someone's going to be like, yeah, don't study with that Dr. Potts. He doesn't know his stuff. Right, but that's actually how you do good thinking is
to be sloppy and messy and to come up. And in the messiness, there is some great ideas.
Right, and then...
because there's freedom.
Right, and that's an important way we do philosophy.
And there's it's okay to fail.
Right.
It's okay to say the wrong footnote. It's okay to, because there's something good's going to come out of that.
Yeah, so I think it's partly maybe people who have experienced academic philosophy and want to think about it a different way.
Yeah.
And I guess, if I were being challenged with what I wanted people to get out of something like this as an audience is, why should you study? Why should you care about philosophy? Why should you read philosophy? Aside from getting that reading done for your philosophy class, right? Why
outside of academia, how does this improve a human being's life?
Yeah.
How does this
improve understood largely, right?
Discernment.
Right, yeah, and I think, exactly.
Interacting with your community.
Exactly.
Thinking about what to eat for breakfast.
Yeah. What in philosophy we often talk about is public philosophy, philosophy outside the classroom. Yeah, this is kind of a mode of that, but I'm hoping maybe there's an audience that's interested in that, interested in, what can I get from just watching these guys ramble and thinking about what they're talking about, right?
At
And-
what point does Phil go into a psychedelic experience because he's talked about philosophy for too long?
Right.
Probably whenever I said, "What does all of this mean?"
Right.
Okay, what does all of this mean? I'm just joking.